Shalom, 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 Yasha Allah. This your boy, Brother Shemuel Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called Your Gifts Are Soon to Be Gone. All right, your gifts are soon to be gone. All right. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and His only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right. And the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. All right. Like I said, today's lesson is going to be called Your Gifts Will Be Leaving Soon. All right. And just a couple of articles that I found. This is from Tag 24, right? It says House passes big, beautiful bill slashing Medicaid and food stamps to pay for Trump tax cuts. Okay, so all these gifts, that, Jake and Eve, have been banking on and counting on, right? It's coming to an end. All right, the gifts are coming to an end. All right, so let's read a little bit of this, right? So it says, the U.S. House of Representatives voted Thursday to approve President Nero's sprawling budget mega bill that critics warn could decimate health care while ballooning the debt. Right? It says the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which now moves to the Senate, would massively shrink social safety net programs to pay for a 10-year extension of his 2017 tax cuts, which mainly favor wealthy Americans. Legislation of this magnitude is truly nation-shaping and life-changing, said House Speaker Mike Johnson ahead of the largely party-line vote. It says, which capped a marathon debate that went through the night. It's the kind of transformational change that future generations will study one day. They'll look back at this day as a turning point in American history. It says the mammoth package passed along party lines, 215 votes to 214, after Trump, along with Republican leadership, quailed a rebellion on the party's right flank, who wanted even more savage cuts. It says, to appease them, Johnson moved up to the enforcement of work requirements for Medicaid recipients by 2 years to the end of 2026 and agreed to phase out clean energy tax credits earlier. It says the centerpiece of Trump's domestic policy agenda that defined his second term in the White House, and he took to social media to celebrate its success. It says the One Big Beautiful Bill has passed the House of Representatives. Trump posted this is arguably the most significant piece of legislation that will ever be signed in the history of our country. Okay, you see it passed 215 to 214. Okay, windfall for the richest 10%, cuts for millions of Medicaid recipients. So it says the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office predicted the bill would boost the income of the richest 10% while making the bottom 10% poor through hundreds of billions of dollars in cuts to health care and food stamps. Okay. It says the White House Council of Economic, right? And that's just that whole, the rich are going to get richer than the poor. There's not going to be any in between. All right. There's not going to be a middle class. All right. It's the rich and the poor. Okay. And the book of Sirach talks about that. You know, what fellowship does the wolf have with uh, the lamb, right? So the rich with the poor. Okay. And that division, that line is going to get more dramatic. Okay. So it says the White House Council of Economic Advisors has made hugely ambitious projections well outside the mainstream census. It says that the package will spur growth of up to 5.2%. It says, in Trump's press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, claimed the bill does not add to the deficit and would actually save 1.6 trillion through spending costs. It says, but investors were unconvinced as the yield of the 10-year U.S. Treasury note surged to its highest level since February on Wednesday, amid worries over the budget-busting bill, bottom line adding to the 36 trillion U.S. debt burden. It says Democrats called the bill devastating for the middle class, pointing to CBO estimates that its cuts to public health insurance for low-income Americans would deprive 8.6 million people of coverage, despite repeated promises by Nero that Medicaid access would remain affected. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called the bill the largest cut to health care in American history in order to enact the largest tax breaks for billionaires in American history. The bill is likely to undergo at least a month of significant rewrites in the Senate, which plans to get the package to Trump's desk by July 4th. Okay, so like I said, these gifts, all right, they're coming to an end. Okay, the gifts that are given in this place, they're being taken away. All right, this is another article, right, from 2 paragraphs. It says Congresswoman slams Trump bill lowering age of SNAP dependent child from 18 to 7. Cold calculated cut. It's cruel. All right. So it says the day before President Trump's big, beautiful bill was passed by the House, 215 to 214, at House Rules, it says committee hearing on Wednesday morning, U.S. Representative Shontel Brown proposed an amendment to strike provision in the bill that lowers the age of the dependent child from 18 to 7 for recipients of Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. Okay, so basically the age, right, that they could use is going to be from now, which is 18, is going to be to 7. All right. And I did a lesson about, Eve. There was an Eve who, she was, she had all these children, and she was getting, I believe thousands of dollars in SNAP and different things. And, she was loving it. Right. But she wasn't understanding what's about to happen. Okay. We're under the leadership of the cruel Lord, right? We're going to get that right in a second, but so it says again. It says a provision in the bill that lowers the age of the dependent child from 18 to 7 for recipients of Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP benefits. All right. It says currently SNAP allows the parents and caregivers of children under 18 a little flexibility. It says if they can't meet the required 80-hour-a-month work requirement, they don't lose access to food, according to Brown. This bill changes that. Brown said the big, bad, ugly bill pulls away basic benefits from the moment a child turns 7. All right, she repeated 7 and added, this is a cold, calculated cut that targets struggling families. It is cruel. All right. And guess what? 7, you got that complete number, right? It says, according to the Center for Budget and policy priorities, it says there are approximately 3 million adults who receive SNAP benefits and live with dependents who would be impacted by the change, as well as 4 million children aged between 7 and 17. Okay. Brown added, this bill doesn't serve working families, it punishes them. It doesn't encourage stability or self-sufficiency. It punishes poverty, and it sends a dangerous message. If you are struggling, you are on your own. As one of her own constitutes replied, have Republicans lost their minds? It says, note in the bill, there is an exception to the work requirements for a person responsible for a child 7 years or older who is married or resides with an individual who complies with SNAP work requirements. Okay. But basically, hey, these gifts, they're all getting ready to go away. All right. So let's get a couple of precepts, right? First one, let's go to matter of fact, let's go to Isaiah 19, right? In verse number 4, it says, the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. A fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahawah Bahasham Shai, Yahawah Bahasham Shai of hosts. Okay, so the Egyptians, right, and this is modern day Egypt. Okay, and guess what? You see the cruel Lord, right, and he's trying to pass this bill. All right, basically, it benefits the wealthy. Okay, and it's gonna have that major separation from the working class, the poor, right, and the rich. There's not going to be an in between. Okay, and there's going to be that great kind of divide. All right, and I had mentioned this. I want to bring this out while I still remember it. The book of Ecclesiasticus 13, and let's try. I'll start at verse 15. It says, every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. All right. What fellowship have the wolf with the lamb, so the sinner with the godly? What agreement is there between a hyena and a dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor? It says, as the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. All right. As the poor hate humility, so doeth the rich abhor the poor. Okay. And that's going to be that, you're going to have that division. Okay. You have working class people, we have different things with this assistance, and what? Now you're taking these gifts and these things away. All right. But, Jake and Eve, they've been so reliant, on Esau. Okay. When we go to what is that? Ecclesiastes 7, right? And verse number 7, it says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Okay. And Esau has used many gifts to try to, keep, Jake docile. All right. Giving them the benefits, giving them the snaps, giving them the different things. All right. But soon he's going to take this stuff away. All right. And we know when we go to the book of Revelation, right? Revelation 12, verse number 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All right. So the scriptures don't lie. All right. And this devil's going to come down fast and furious on you. All right. Cutting all your benefits. Right. Because what? Ultimately, they're going to get upset. Right. They're going to, get angry. And then guess what? Here's the solution. Revelation 13:16. Right. If you want to get more, I got you. Right. This is what you have to do. Right. Get this physical, this RFID hip, right, in your hand or your forehead. All right. This is the agenda, right? It ultimately leads all up to Revelation 13:16 and 17. Okay. The charagma. All right. But this devil knows, and he's, what does this say? Let's go to the book of Isaiah again. Isaiah, the 10th chapter, right? In verse number 1, right? It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. It says to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Okay? And they're writing all these different things, what? To keep the poor, down and out. All right? And what? And make the rich richer. Okay? So ultimately, and we know that, ultimately Nero, right, is being moved by those elites. Okay? This is all coming from the elites, right? Those top bacon families, and their rulership. That's what they're doing, right? They're calling these shots, right? These are the things that are happening because they have the agenda, all right, for the NWO, all right, or the New World Order, okay. But it says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees," right? And that's what that's what exactly what they're doing, all right. What is that? What is that? Micah 2, verse number 1, right? It says, you see the title says, Micah chapter 2, verse 1, woe to those who oppress the poor. Okay? It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Okay? That's what they do, right? The scriptures say that they toss and turn, they lose sleep unless they can cause some to fall. All right, so they know, they know what this bill is with the health care, with the medical benefits and the different things, right? They're crashing this stuff so they can put their agenda on. All right, so they can set up their agenda. This is all part of the plans. Okay, so it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in their power of their hand. That's why they do it, right? Because they can. All right. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so that they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Okay. They want it all. Okay, because they want full control over you, right? Ultimately, that's what they're looking for. All right, and this devil, he has no shame about it. All right, let's go to the book of Jeremiah. All right, Jeremiah 17 and verse number 5. It says, "Thus saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi." All right, and our people are cursed, right? Because you see, a lot of our people, what do? They trust in Esau. They trust in his system, right? They think that they're gonna, what they're doing is for the best of them, right? And they still haven't figured out, right? Like Lamentations says, Lamentations 4 and verse number 17. It says, as for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help, and our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. Right? And they continue to do and do these unrighteous decrees, but our people continue to put their trust in this place and think that this place is set up to save them, right? Our people are sadly mistaken, okay? This place is not set up, for you, okay? It's not set up for you, all right? What is that? Let's go to the book of Psalm, right? Psalm 146 and verse number 3. It says, put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help. Okay? And our people have put their trust, in thinking that, this stuff, these gifts and all these things are going to last forever. No, right? This is all for a appointed time, right? And now they're snatching this stuff away, because now, guess what? If you don't follow their ways, then you'll get nothing, all right? And this is coming, all right? And a lot of our people, they're not prepared, all right? But they're putting their trust in, in Egypt, right? This is modern day Egypt, all right? Isaiah 31, start at verse 1, right? It says the Egyptians are men and not God, right? Isaiah chapter 31 and verse 1, it says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. It says to stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. It says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words. It says, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. It says, now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is helped shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. Okay, so anybody who puts their trust in this place, in Egypt, and the princes and men, right, you're gonna fall, right? You're gonna fall right along with this place, all right? And our people have put their trust and their faith, in this devil, right, who means them no good, all right? And ultimately, what is that going to do? That's going to lead, many of the people to, let's get it. Revelation 13 and 16. All right. You don't have money to pay for your Medicare. You don't have money to pay for, the food for what are you going to do? Right. You're going to have to follow the ways. Right. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand and in their foreheads. It says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. Right, and that mark, when you look up that word, is karagba. All right, karagma, right, which is a thing carved, sculptured, right, and when you go into the root word karax, it's like a pail or a stake, right. This is a physical thing, which is that RFID chip, okay, that they want to implant, everybody. All right. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, so ultimately, that's the agenda that they're trying to push. Okay, and the way they're going to do it, right? They're going to have people being desperate out here. Okay, you're taking away their gifts, and then you're saying, hey, if you want some of this stuff, guess what you're going to have to do? Ultimately, all right. But you have to have faith and trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right. Let's go to Revelation chapter 3 and verse number 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And who are those? Those who put their trust and their faith in Yahawah Bahasham Shai, and not in man, and not in Egypt, right? Or AKA Babylon, right? They're not putting their trust in that, okay? They're putting their trust and faith in Yahawah Bahasham Shai to get them through, okay? And let's read about them, right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah 65 and I believe it's 13. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 65 and verse number 13. It says, therefore, thus saith Yahawah Bahasham Shai, the Most High Power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. All right? And there's going to be a lot of people ashamed, because they put their trust and their faith, in this system, right? Which is, the scriptures say this place is going down. All right? This place is going down. All right? It says, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and ye shall howl for the vexation of spirit. Okay? Because, these times of Jacob's trouble, all right, is going to be like no other. All right? Like a time that's never been seen when you go to the book of Daniel, right? And the scriptures tell you, Micah, chapter 2 and verse number 10, it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. Okay? And those who put their trust, right, in this place, in Esau's system, right, in this beast system, all right, and you're going to be destroyed along with the beast. Okay? Ultimately, you're going to be destroyed, right? You want to put your trust and your faith in Egypt and think that this place is set up to keep you okay? No. All right? It's time to wake up, right? To repent, to come back to Yahawah Bahasham Shai, seek him while he may be found, okay? Because the time is coming, right? The time, it's a limited time right now, all right? We do these lessons to warn the people of what's to come, right? To get yourself together. Stop putting your trust and your faith in this place, right? This place does nothing but tries to pull the wool over your eyes, okay? You think that because you go to school, you went to school, you graduated, you did these different things, that things are going to be better. No, you're still an Israelite here in America under these curses and under the rulership of Esau, right, which is the wicked. And the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. And don't think he's going to do anything good for you, right? He does those gifts to calm you down. And guess what? Now he's about to start turning it up, okay? He's about to start turning it up, right? Because his spirit and his countenance is about to change real soon, all right? And we're warning the people, all right? So with that, right, I just want to do that quick lesson. Lord's will, this was edifying, right? With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash, right? Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad. A mighty shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who have ruled well to the spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty shalom to the rest of the elect out there. Stay diligent, stay focused. Put your trust and your faith in Yahawah Bahasham Shai. All right, in these days, all right, and they will get you through. All right, and with that, I'll say shalom.